So, in today's video, I'm apparently going to talk about The Little Mermaid in general and, like what works and what doesn't work, and the similarities between different movies and such, that also feel similar in a way. And also, I will be talking about the talks of getting attacked on social media, about calling me racist and whatever about certain things. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so the topic is basically to do with me growing up with that version of The Little Mermaid. I got attached to that version of The Little Mermaid. Reason why is because I was a kid and I grew up with this version mainly. You know what I mean? I see this as the version I grew up with mainly. So apparently, I'm actually, because when I'm used on a certain character or whatever, looking the way they should, I get very, very picky and whatever. Like, if they basically change them in a way, in like remakes, I just start dislike it, and such. There has been Disney remakes where I haven't liked it as much because it hasn't been true to the source material where it looks close to the original. Like, say, Beauty and the Beast, for example. The clock and such doesn't look like the original. You know what I mean? Doesn't look similar at all. Doesn't look the part. Like, that's, for example, also Lion King. I didn't bother watching that because the characters didn't look like they were supposed to look in the cartoon version. If you get what I mean. Okay, so apparently we're getting off topic here. So apparently I'm gonna physically discuss more in the deal of Little Mermaid. So I'm not even gonna bother showing the remake versions of Sebastian and Flounder. Now, I love these two because he's chubby and, he's more like a version of like a lobster crab, which is kind of like a combination of some sort of crab. Okay, so apparently in more details as we going to more of the Little Mermaid. Now, there is two kingdoms, right? There is the Atlantic Kingdom, which is where Ariel is from, which is known as the White Kingdom. And then on the other side, we've got the African Kingdom, which she is from, which people tend to forget about her. She's called Gabriella. How can people forget about this black one? I liked her as a character in the TV show because, when she was introduced, it wasn't ruining a Disney character. It was making a new character. So, when it comes to new black characters like Tiana, I was okay with it because it was a new character. Someone, Disney made up. I was okay with it. But when they go and change characters, like, say, Ariel, change her into, like, the opposite race, I get offended. I get really, really offended when they change it. It's like the fairy in Pinocchio remake. When they changed her into a black fairy, I got offended. Or when they changed Tinkerbell into a black fairy, again, offended. Or they changed Peter Pan into an Asian, still offended. Because I grew up with those original characters, and them changing it, I got mad. Okay, so apparently, more basically I'm going to discuss why it's not being racist, when you like something from the original, you know what I mean? Something that you stay true to, like Ariel being white and with red hair, that's the iconic design for the mermaid that I remember from the past. That's the mermaid I grew up with, so her being changed upsets me. Okay, so this is the remake version, and I don't like it, because Disney, as we know it, is racist. Yeah, we know this. See what they've done to Sebastian? They've ruined him. They literally turned him into a normal crab. He's not like an actual crab. He's supposed to be like a lobster type crab. Also, Flounder. don't like his design. This is why I didn't bother watching the movie. When people tell me, you haven't seen the movie, whatever, I don't want to take any chances. I watched Aladdin, right? I watched Aladdin, and my ears bled. Yeah, my ears bled when I listened to that film. When I listened to people sing in that, it made my ears bleed. So I've also basically seen bits of songs from The Lion King. Again, made my ears bleed. It was terrible. Even though I actually directly didn't watch The Lion King, but I knew it was going to be terrible because it felt too realistic. And this is what it's going with, mainly. This looks too realistic. This is why I'm not watching this. Because we know Neptune is white in Atlantis. He's always like a white sort of mermaid, merman. Apparently, he's always mainly white in the ocean, because there has been a lot, of movies where he actually is white, and whatever, especially the whole family being white and whatever. Okay, so back to this. Disney is racist. I want to explain why. Because they ruined a character I loved the most, Ariel. They clearly changed her into this. Yeah, I'm not happy. They literally changed her race, giving fans this finger. Yeah. That's what they're doing, driving fans away. If it was the right person, like, say, a whiter person, it would have made fans like the character more. You know what I mean? It's like saying, oh, have a black Cinderella, or a black Peter Pan, or you get what I mean? Like, black versions of other characters are changing. Like, if they basically made Tiana white, I'd still be pissed. I'd still be mad. Because they're changing characters in the wrong way that they shouldn't be doing it. Oh my. I've seen a lot of trailers for this, and it does not impress me. The CGI looks terrible, the graphics look dull, and the lighting is not that great. It just doesn't work. Yeah, it just doesn't work. This is why I've been put off by the whole thing, and basically also her going against the whole racism thing. That's, getting people to defend Disney and all that stuff. Yeah, I would start to dislike her more and more as it went on. Okay. So apparently we're going to look at a movie that actually worked for a mermaid that seemed similar to The Little Mermaid, and it was called Aquamarine. Aquamarine was a good mermaid film, even though it's mainly for girls, mainly because the story of Aquamarine is similar to The Little Mermaid in a way, but you don't see Neptune, you just see part of his powers affecting the ocean. Now, the story with Aquamarine is sort of similar in a way, because even though she has a different name than Ariel mainly, so I'm basically assuming since her name is Aquamarine, her siblings would all have gemstone names, I reckon, since this is more of a different company that did this film. So another thing is, the story goes on with Aquamarine being washed out into a swimming pool, and whatever. And, because of the argument between her and her father, because she was supposed to marry a merman, which she didn't want to marry at all. So this is what caused her to run away, which Neptune caused this big, massive tsunami, which washed her into the swimming pool in the first place. So, two girls, Haley and I forget the other one's name, they actually end up finding this mermaid in their pool, and they become friends, the best of friends. So, basically, when they find out the next day, Aquamarine ends up having two legs. Yeah, she ends up on two legs. because when she is dried, she actually is able to walk on two lands. You know, which Pirates of the Caribbean has explained with mermaids. They can walk on land. Uh, so so apparently it goes on like that, and then she falls in love with this hot lifeguard, which is a good story, by the way. It's based on similar thing with the Little Mermaid. So she has 3 days to apparently get Raymond to fall in love with her. But there's always a twist at the end. So in the end, she kind of does get him to like her, but not love her, if that makes sense. But eventually they do kiss at the end. Unfortunately, they do kiss, and she still stays as a mermaid, mainly, and basically it goes on, the two girls do break up, and she goes back to her father to, talk with him after proving to her father, Neptune, that love exists. So she is also told that she would actually meet Raymond in another area, another country or something, like she'd swim there or whatever, you know what I mean, just to get with him. But yeah, this story is similar to The Little Mermaid in a way, because of it. And I like this movie. This is the best live action movie I've had so far, closest to The Little Mermaid. You know what I mean? It's the best one I've got so far. And I just don't see Haley Bailey's live action working, to be honest. I don't see it being better than that. Now, this is a great film, to be honest. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's the best live action you're going to get so far. And also, if you really want a mermaid reaction, try looking into Pirates of the Caribbean on Strangest Tide. Now, that one actually does have a mermaid called Serena. Now, Serena is another mermaid, which I don't actually have on here. She doesn't feel love at first by this guy, but she does eventually feel feelings for him, if you get what I mean, and such. So apparently that's the reasons why. So I'm gonna actually explain more about the other live actions. Now, Genie wasn't like he should be in Aladdin. He should have been, he should have been blue instead of brown. Well, he was blue, but he wasn't, I don't think he fitted in the right category, I think, as Genie. I don't think he, unless he was, I can't remember, I haven't watched that film in a long time. But I know when I heard Jasmine sing, I was like thinking, nah, I prefer the original. And most of the original films I do prefer, and then there's some that I prefer the remake. So Cinderella was a good remake of a film because it still had that Disney magic in it. But as the years went on, the Disney magic went. I mean, Alice in Wonderland was great as a sequel. It was great because it has that magic. Like Maleficent. Both Maleficent films had magic in it. It felt like it actually did have magic. And I love those films. Because it gives you a take on Maleficent's character as it goes on, in a twisted way, and such. So, I'm also thinking, why can't Disney just, I don't know, make up new characters instead of blackwashing existing ones? Like, I'd be really, really mad if they changed characters, you know what I mean? Like, what's next? They turn Tiana white. They make other characters different color and whatever. Just to piss people off. I mean, that's what it's doing. Yeah, this is what it's doing to fans. Yeah. Again, I'm used to this Little Mermaid, right? Now, basically, let's look back at the other picture, right? you know, she's the right color for the Little Mermaid. It fits in the Atlantic Ocean because it's so cold. Now, back to this mermaid. Similar, except she doesn't have the red hair. If you get what I mean. Still similar. Still feels like the Little Mermaid. Beautiful. Perfect. And when I'm thinking, she should have been casted for the Little Mermaid, live action. She should have been casted. Or someone similar or something in the category. You know, someone that's kind of the same tone, like, you know what I mean? That actually still is beautiful and still fits as the Little Mermaid. There's a lot of white actresses out there. There's a lot. That could fit as the Little Mermaid. There's a lot that could do that. So, how dare Disney cast out white people? That's racist. Yeah, that's basically racist. Casting out the wrong, casting them out just to make way, you know, for one person that can sing mainly, that's not the right race. Yeah, this one, no. Now, I think, yeah, I basically think that Haley shouldn't have been the Little Mermaid and instead should have been Tiana. Instead, since she wants the lead role, I think Tiana would be perfect. You know what I mean? For a black actress. So again, I'm not racist, I'm not hating on the person, but I just feel like it would have been better if she was Tiana instead. You know, as a Disney princess. Which would have made more sense with her character. There's probably more characters that are probably black as well in the Disney franchise that actually are black that she could have been. Instead of changing a character that I loved so dear, and such. Oh my. Disney have no idea what they're doing. I mean, I was talking about on a live stream yesterday, mainly about the whole Little Mermaid stuff, and, you know, most agreed with me. Agreed with me about the whole thing because, you know, it's horrible just, like, changing stuff and whatever. I mean, Disney's getting worse. They're not listening to fans. So let's basically take, for example, Marvel. Marvel's doing a better job. Doing a better job with movies. You know, the CGI is better. They're doing a lot better. Okay, other movies, like, say, Sonic, also doing better CGI. And such. Even the Detective Pikachu movie had like better CGI, which kind of felt like they were living in a real world in a way, living alongside humans. Why couldn't they have just done the same for the Little Mermaid? You know what I mean? Like, for example, instead of having her having dreadlocks, make her wider. Make her wider. Which would have been good. Give her red hair and such. Make Flounder look like his movie counterpart. Well, his old movie counterpart, like cartoony. Make him look a bit more cartoony, especially Sebastian. Make him look a bit more cartoony as well. And another thing I have to say is Ursula, make her look a bit more like Ursula from the original, mainly. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. This is why I'm not actually watching The Little Mermaid. You know, because whenever I come to arguments, I'd rather watch this. Yeah. I'd rather watch this film, Aquamarine, or watch the original Little Mermaid. Because that's the movies that feel true to a movie. My gosh. Now you'd know I'm not actually being racist, in a way. It's my opinions on a fan, a long-term fan that grew up with the classics, mainly. And I just don't like change, you know what I mean? It kind of hurts me, and I feel offended when this change. Because it kind of pisses me off, or whatever, if that makes sense. So people need to stop attacking, like, racist attackers that defend Disney, Little Mermaid, need to stop attacking people that, you know, have opinions on why they shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? I mean, you get what I mean now. Yeah, so apparently that's all I've, gotta say, for this at this point. So if I have any more, so if I basically have any more, you know, like any more, topics to talk about, I will make more videos and whatever, and such, so, yeah.